So we'll kick it off first, though, because this is a very hot topic, which is the NCAA new eligibility rule. And for those of you who have no idea what's going on, or you're new to the scene, or maybe you've been reading up on it and it still hasn't really clicked to you what is actually happening. Because for me, I was a little bit confused, so I had to do more research. So I wanted to just, you know how I am. I always want to educate you and break it down, make it as simple as possible so that we can have the conversation about some things that maybe will have drastic impacts in the future. So at the most basic level, college athletes get 5 years to play 4 seasons. Once you enroll full time and that 5-year clock starts ticking, you can redshirt. We all know what redshirt is. If you're basketball, you know what that is. You can missing time with your injury, but at the end of the day, you don't get unlimited seasons. Now, where things have gotten a little confusing is with the transfers and the introduction of NIL, which began in, I believe it could be June or July, but it happened in 2021 was when NIL, when athletes can start earning money from their season. And in addition to NIL, there have been certain legal pressures that have came down on the NCAA regarding the NIL and eligibility. So players are coming from junior colleges, overseas leagues, and different divisions, and the NCAA is now deciding everything on a case-by-case basis, whether those seasons should count. And for some they will, and for others they won't. On top of that, the NIL changed the stakes completely. So when eligibility ends now, it's not just that your basketball stops, but the income stops as well. So players are fighting for extra years, arguing that the system shouldn't cut them off right away as they reach their peak value. And instead of the NCAA rewriting the rules, I think they're doing some type of patchwork with waivers and clarifications where some players are getting relief and some aren't. And also, there's certain circumstances are being called into question, like G League players being eligible to play in the NCAA. There's also been rumors going around regarding NBA players being eligible to then go back to college and play and continue to earn more revenue from the NIL. There's also been federal lawsuits challenging the NCAA's eligibility rules. For example, the Pavia versus the NCAA case, where a player argued that counting junior college seasons against eligibility is unfair, especially when it impacts their NIL earnings. A judge actually granted preliminary decision in Pavia's favor, forcing the NCAA to let him play this season while the legal fight continues.
Sheesh. Wait, hold on. Can I jump in real quick?
Yes.
Do you agree with that? That the JUCO years should not count against your eligibility for an athlete?
I personally don't agree with that. Because people are like, is JUCO still considered college? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It is.
And so I think because NIL is now involved, I want to see people get paid. However, when you start involving money, then people start wanting to jump through loopholes. And then that starts having long-term effects that we're not really aware of or thinking about for the future.
Yeah.
In the state of the game, essentially. And I know you cut in, and I want to hear your thoughts. I promise. I'm almost done, but I just wanted to lay the foundation, hear your thoughts, and then we'll go into what the president of the NCAA had to say about it, because this isn't the last we're going to hear about this. Besides that one case, it was the House versus NCAA, and it became a national coverage, resulting in the NCAA having to pay, what's it called? Like back pay. They have to pay $2.8 billion in back pay to players that were supposed to be eligible to receive money and did not. What is that kind of pay called?
It's back pay.
It's back pay, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably another name for it too, but
that's another name for it. Yeah. Yeah. So, and what I think is happening now that this new rule has come is they're trying to, as in NCAA, is kind of retaliating to the judge's rule over that, even based off of what the president recently said and how he said it. Charlie Barkley, like the way, I think how he said it is them now looking for loopholes, because they're like, okay, if we have to pay all this money back to people, it's only a matter of time before we continue to get sued. It's just opened the door to getting them more vulnerability, more vulnerable to lawsuits and players trying to circumvent the process. Players or even schools. So, what do you think about that so far?
Exactly what this guy said on screen. Like, shouldn't no daggone grown man be in college. I mean,
No.
well, I wouldn't say a age thing. If you still got the eligibility, you got the eligibility, right? You know, so if you're 26, cool. You want to go back and play. Obviously, you got somewhat of an advantage, but you also at a disadvantage as well. You're not, you're not a spring chicken no more. It's different, right? You know, so I wouldn't mind it. I mean, we seen Chris Winkie go back and play for Florida State, and Chris Winkie was like 24 in college, old quarterback in college. So it is what it is. But when these guys are going to the pros, like right now, I think is a case where someone got drafted. He got drafted like number 31. He wasn't in the lottery, but he was a first rounder who got drafted. I think ended up in maybe the G League.
Oh yeah, you're talking about Najee, James
yes,
Najee. Yes.
And
He
now
didn't actually sign a contract. So yeah.
But the old rule used to be if you sign an agent, you're no longer eligible to play college basketball. This dude got drafted. He went beyond signing an agent. He got drafted and probably went and try and practice with a team and did preseason. I mean, did pre-draft workouts, all of that stuff. He did the whole shebang.
Right.
In the old times, that'll make you ineligible. You can't come back to college once you do that, because now you're a professional. So yeah, having professionals come back and play a year or two with a college, I don't think that's cool.
I don't think that's cool. I don't think it makes it fair. It takes away from the experience overall, not just the impact of the game, but the experience. Like I remember being 17 and in the locker room, and yeah, the seniors, but they're what, 21? It's not like I'm in a locker room with a 26, 27-year-old. And I know times are different, times are changing, but it's
and
not.
20, and 21 was a big difference between your 17, correct? Even though it's 4 years, like the different, like first of all, they can drink, they can go to different clubs that you can't go to. You just got out of high school, you're not experienced, you're 17, you're not even an adult yet.
Right.
So it's a huge difference. Now think about being 17 and having a 25-year-old that played in the G League come back and, hey man, I want to get on this squad, and y'all play the same position.
Exactly.
That's unfair.
It's unfair, and having the NIL would incentivize any grown man who maybe has to take care of his family at 27. No offense to the baby fathers out there, but I'm just saying, if they get into that position, then they're like, oh, here's a loophole. I could just go back in college because I have 2 years of eligibility since I left early thinking I was going to go somewhere.
Correct.
We would love for anybody to get a second chance. We want to see people get paid, but you doing it, that means a million other people should be able to do it. And when you start scaling it, it stops making sense. It stops being fair overall, grand scheme. And again, when they make these rules like they made in 2021, these are things that the NCAA did not think about. So now they're faced with these legal battles and they have to shift. So I'm gonna pull up on the screen what the president, Charlie Barker, and Charlie Barker became president in December 2022. So a year after they decided on the NIL, that's when Charlie became president. So he's been president of the NCAA for the past almost 4 years, heading into 4 years, kind of 3-some years. Okay. If it's hard to see, I'm just gonna read it. But the NCAA was not. This is what Charlie said. The NCAA has not and will not grant eligibility to any prospective or returning student athletes who have signed an NBA contract, including a two-way contract. As schools are increasingly recruiting individuals with international league experience, the NCAA is exercising discretion in applying the actual and necessary expenses bylaws to ensure that prospective student athletes with experience in American basketball leagues are not at a disadvantage compared to their international counterparts. Rules have long permitted schools to enroll and play individuals with no prior collegiate experience mid-year. Keyword is mid-year. And then secondly, this second part is the most important. While the NCAA has prevailed on the vast majority of eligibility related lawsuits. So that tells me they've been getting sued a lot. It's crazy. Recent outlier decisions in joining the NCAA on a nationwide basis from enforcing rules that have been on the books for decades without even having a trial are widely destabilizing. So obviously he does not agree with the recent rules that have come into play regarding the current state and nature of the NCAA, because once people start hollering antitrust laws, that's when the NCAA is like, okay, they're going to start making changes based on a federal law, not necessarily the culture that's best for sports in general. And so he said, I will be working with D1 leaders in the weeks ahead to protect college basketball from these misguided attempts to destroy this American institution. So I was like, ooh, I wanted to talk about that. What do you think?
First I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, because I don't feel bad for the NCAA at all.
I don't either.
Because even with all these lawsuits, they've been, you know what I'm saying, you said they just settled one that was like 1.8 of back pay.
2.4 billion. 2.4 billion.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that's a crazy number. However long the NCAA has existed, that's how long they've been getting money hand over fist from athletes, and the only thing they was offering was classes and courses, because the people who really sell the product and and put these schools on TV, they're not in it for the degree or the school. I probably say 85% of them are not there for the degree or the classes. They're there to go professional, right? So they're trading them an opportunity to play for a school so they can showcase their talent, so they can go pro. They're not trading their skills for a degree, right? But that's the only thing they're offering these kids. But on the back end, they're making money from sponsors, from TV networks, from boosters, all types of. The Vegas is like they're getting money hand over fist. So that 2.4 billion that they had to pay in back pay is really pennies when you think about how many players they owe money, and how much money they've made over the course of 100 years. Like, I mean, it's insane. I'm pretty sure the NCAA as a whole, because I think some of these schools are bringing in probably billions a year. So the NCAA as a whole is probably bringing in, I don't know, probably for the last 25 years, they probably been bringing in hundreds of billions.
They have to. I mean, there's men and women, and then the merch. It's so much. It's so much. Yeah. It's insane.
Too much. I mean, I got on the Colorado shirt now.
You definitely do. That's funny.
Insane.
I think so. The question I have in the lower third is, should eligibility be case by case? And that's the patchwork I was referring to earlier. The response to these lawsuits, and not only, okay, I'm going to be working with coaches, the president, state, but now it's, well, we're going to look at everything case by case. I really want to know, is that fair? Is that a great strategy for the best they could come up with right now, and the things that had to change? I did see that they're still facing certain challenges. For example, redshirting. There's proposals to eliminate traditional redshirting that's being discussed. And then there's also maintaining the 4 seasons and 5 years rule.
4 seasons and 5 years.
They're questioning the eligibility clock's application. So yeah.
That's a good question. 4 seasons and 5 years. So here's what I would say. If by case they mean that they have a rule, and then if you can prove that you're an exception to that rule, then we'll review it at some type of board and decide like that. And I agree with that. But if it's no rule and it's just a free for all, and we're just looking at every case individually, I think that's not. It might appear to be transparent, but I don't think it's really transparent, because I mean, there's no two situations that's going to be the same. But if they're similar, if me and you got similar situations, and they review it by case, and yours get approved and mine get disapproved, but it's very similar.
Right.
That's not enough for me to understand why mine didn't get approved. It's gonna cause a lot of confusion, right? So it
Okay.
has to be a
Yeah.
concrete rule. We're trying to achieve. And if you're an exception to that rule for whatever reason, let's say maybe I don't know, you was, you got injured, or you was, you went to the military or something like that. It's an exception to every rule for sure. And as long as they're doing it like that, I'm okay with case by case, if they got a concrete rule in place.
Yeah. Well, again, the NIL is a game changer. The NCAA has established new eligibility rules that have resulted in pretty much case by case basis. However, they are still on ongoing conversations on how they're going to navigate whether a player their current eligibility. And the president right now is focused on the landscape for the long term. Listening to Charlie Barker talk, I respect it. I don't see any malice behind them because I always question big guys. I do. I question people in positions like that all the time. I don't just trust them right away. Like,
Yeah,
I don't trust Adam and I don't trust Kathy. So I was looking at
man.
Charlie like, what's up with you, Charlie? But it does seem like he really cares about the basketball culture and the nature of it. But I also want to know if he's coming and he wants to protect it from federal government interception if it would have a long-term impact on the game and the experience for a college athlete. I just hope he's not masking saying that with any underlying reasons, but I haven't found those yet. I don't see it yet, so I'm gonna give him a pass for now. But I'm keep my eye on Charlie. Any last thoughts? Anyone have any comments that they want to discuss before we move on to the All-Star? We spent a
What you
decent
think
amount
about
of
that
time on this
comment?
topic. People wanted college athletes to get paid, but making them millionaires was a mistake. That's a case by
I mean,
case basis.
how many of them become millionaires other than the top? You know what I mean? Shador Sanders is one. He was a millionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, but where's the example of someone becoming a millionaire being a mistake?
I think anytime, money is involved, things get a little messy. They get a little dicey and integrity could be compromised here and there. That's the only type of mistake I would see with money in general. But to your point, I don't know who's they're probably making tens of thousands of dollars. They're probably,
Yeah.
And that's life-changing for someone at that age. I mean, I remember when I was in college playing basketball and just having an extra 10K probably would have changed my life. And this was 2014, So.
And here's what I would say. And the people who say it was a mistake for these kids to get paid, and for these coaches that's been in the league or been coaching 30 years, that quit, like Nick Saban and guys like that just quit as soon as because NIL was a problem for them.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was a mistake. I would say that it evens the playing field for a great player and the coach, because back then you could get on the coach bad side and all of a sudden your career could be over.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? There's nothing you can do. You on the end of the bench, he just don't like you, and it's a wrap. And it makes it hard for a student that's in a situation with a coach that's abusing his power. Now, for everybody who's playing everything the way you're supposed to play it, I feel for them. But for the people like Nick Saban that go and get, I got the top program in football, and he'll go and get 5 running backs, the top 5 running backs in the country, and have them all on one roster, and have 2 of them playing and the other 3 just sitting at the end of the bench. And hey, man, you gotta wait your turn and all that stuff. And now you stuck, because if I try to transfer, he's gonna badmouth me and ruin my name. So I can't transfer. I'm scared. Like Cam Newton almost got caught up with that with playing behind Tim Tebow with Urban Meyer. And he was like, I knew I was better than Tim Tebow, but I was never gonna get a chance. And that's not what he told me when I showed up here. You get what I'm saying? So he had to go to a JUCO just to come back to Auburn, but he got lucky. Like
not everybody, right?
Exactly. So with the transfer portal and NIL and all this stuff, these kids are now saying, look, man, F you. Like, you're not about to play with my whole 4 years. I go hit the transfer portal and go. And they offer me more money anyway.
That's actually a great point. But based on the direction that the NCAA might be taking towards this, I think this is going to force players to make them feel like they are even more stuck. This actually could change the recruiting game, because although they say your coaches are banned from saying, oh, you'll get NIL money, because you're not supposed to say that, by the way, according to their laws. You're not supposed to tell a player they can get this much money if you come here. They put that in place. Yeah. However, doesn't mean that's not happening. But if you are a player that got promised things and now you're stuck, and then they already added an additional rule, well, if you transfer X amount of times, then you lose the money too. It's going to get a lot of players stuck. And that can have a drastic impact on the game that we're not even possibly thinking of.
Hey, y'all do me a favor. If y'all sending cash apps, please go watch the show from No Bull channel and send the cash apps there, because this is her stream. I'm just sharing it, no man down. But thanks for this super chat. This only got out of hand when people started looking at the game wrong. Most people graduate 4 to 5 years. They were looking at the one and done, like everyone is one and done.
They are looking at the one and done like everyone is one and done. Right.
So I guess the people that's getting the most NIL are the athletes that are one and done type athletes. Then that's mostly for basketball.
1 year. So I see what you're saying. 1 year and now they're drafted.
Yeah. They now those type of players are definitely getting NIL money, right?
Yeah.
If you got one and done talent, you getting the NIL.
Absolutely.
For sure. I think Cooper Flag might have had his New Balance shoe deal while he was at Duke.
I think he did. I think they were wrapping that signing up his senior year.
Yeah. No. His senior year at high school. Yeah. It's unreal how good that kid is, though, man.
You know what I'm saying? They've been on him.
This dude was 17 at Duke, dog. Like, look, he's so good. His twin brother, I think, just graduated high school this year. That is his twin, though.
No, like, I hear you.
You know what I mean? So I'm so good that I'm in college a year early, and in the league, God,
in the league, the number one option on the team too.
That's insane, dog.
With all stars,
that's insane
around him.
And I had Ace Bailey graded above him in college, all the way up until like when I watched him play in the tournament before the season was over, and then that's when I flopped it and put him 1 and Ace Bailey 2. I
just liked his fortitude, man. He didn't really miss any games, and even when he went down on an ankle, he still came back. He gave it his all. Like it's like he cares about basketball. That's what I like about him.
Yeah.
I see Bruce also said this option to send a super chat here is not available. Yeah, I'm almost there though. So please drop a like, drop a subscribe.
I forgot. It's my bad, Bruce. I wasn't even thinking. Well, I send you these cash apps.
Nah,
if y'all whatever y'all send in cash app, I'll send it to Bree.
I don't care about them. I appreciate it though. But Bruce says schools made NIL toxic because they wanted to make college athletes properties. I mean, I think it becomes, yes, we got to give people value. Maybe it was a different way they could have went about it. I'm not sure what way that was, but I wish it were just handled a bit differently.
Yeah.
Like, what if we took that and applied it to your scholarship? Oh, okay, well, you already got a full ride. Okay, well, let's take it and you can't access this until this, something like that. Like, let's make it like a trust or something, or just to see if it was more about the future of a player and the investment of a player rather than we're going to dangle this carrot in front of you that has money tied to it. So just come here and then we'll just ship you off after.
Some people need the money now.
This is true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the type of situation I was in coming out of high school, giving me some money and putting it in trust that I couldn't touch for years wasn't going to work for me.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Give me that money now. We need that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right.
The garden that they picking these prospects from is full of a lot of, I mean, like I call the projects a garden, right? You know, I call the hood a garden because in this garden you can get everything you need to you know, make money for the country. Whether it's I can just send the police in that garden and pick a convict to throw him in prison. Now I got free labor for years. I don't know if you know about these private prisons and how much money they make.
Oh,
It's a big,
absolutely.
it's a
Because the
big
labor
time.
is really cheap. It's like
Yeah, but beyond cheap, but beyond that, because my cousin did time, and um he talked about how all the people who had these companies that kind of leech off the inmates, the how, you know, whatever system they got for commissary, that's a, you know, that's a leech. The phone calls, you know, everything that's involved in the prison, there's somebody who has a company that is just profiting off of it, and it's an unfair system, right? So everyone's making money off these people. So you just pick these people from the garden, drop them in prison, and they make the best athletes. So you just pick them from the garden and then drop them in your school. That was also free labor and free money, right? You know, money just getting it just off your talent. You know, so everything you need in that garden is there to make so much money, and that's why I call the projects a garden, dog. Like they planted a perfect system to just fund all their businesses in America. You know, most of our military come from that garden as well. They're smart. That's deep though. That's
I
another
know
topic.
it's deep. It's smart, but it is deep. Yeah.
Another topic for another day. I just thought about that
You
just
know, I
now.
want to talk about it because my uncle. I definitely
Yeah,
want to talk
yeah, for
about it.
sure.
Okay, so great conversation. Appreciate everyone who's in the chat. Make sure you drop a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to either Man Down Sports or subscribe to my channel. We love seeing y'all. Join the conversation.